The idea for this video stemmed from a disturbing memory of playing on a Flash game website as a kid when all of a sudden I saw this monstrosity of an ad appear. Later in life, I was compelled to revisit the source of this image I still possessed in my brain to find out it was nothing more than a sculpture that had circulated the web. This is one of my first recollections of experiencing an internet hoax. Internet hoaxes by all means still exist, but they've evolved over the years. Their execution changes, the content varies, and over time, I think the simple internet hoax paved the way for the internet mystery niche and even analog horror. You may not think Fiji mermaids and bonsai kittens become this, but when you go through the so-called eras of hoaxes, my theory makes a little more sense. I've divided this into 3 different eras: early internet, the rise of social media, and elevated hoax horror. This was the best I could come up with. While curating my selection of hoaxes, I tried to do a balance of bottom of the iceberg and commonly remembered examples, because I love both giving exposure to anything that's lesser known and taking a trip down memory lane to invoke that nostalgia. To start off with the early internet, I thought there was no one more fitting to do so other than Whang himself. So with that being said, let's get into some of the strangest internet hoaxes.
Manbeef.com debuted in 2001 with the tagline, "Catering to the sophisticated human meat consumer," claiming to have been established on April 20th in 1982 by Joseph Christofferson. Manbeef International Meat started as a small business, but now vastly expanded to 15 countries in total, and was going to provide the service of human flesh delivered right to your doorstep. Today is only accessible by the Wayback Machine, but is surprisingly substantial in detail. In the products tab, you'll find different types of human meat for sale, specifying the price of each one, or the gift center where they reportedly sold fondue sets and gift cards. They even had wine and Manbeef merchandise for baby dolls. Other contents of the site were an extensive list of recipes, including a cheese manburger quiche and one-pot Manbeefy mac. According to an FAQ on the site, the reason why you couldn't order the meat directly from the website was that they wanted to have a personal relationship with their customer base. Definitely not because, this was an elaborate hoax. They had their own shipping info, return policy, and a processing section that detailed not only how they acquired the bodies, but their in-depth procedures for quality control. You may be thinking that obviously there wasn't a human meat business open for the public, but with how thorough the website was and that it was averaging 500,000 views a day, the FDA took notice, and this warranted the FDA investigating the site, resulting in the reported finding that no, Joseph Christofferson was not the mastermind behind a decades-long cannibalism company. Rather, a hoax site run by Chris Ellerby and Joseph Mallet. This does, however, mark Kylie's 3rd video mentioning some form of cannibalism.
Casey Nicole Swenson was a teenager who ran a blog that suffered from leukemia between 1999 and 2001, following her tragic passing. Until it was unveiled, Casey was an alive woman in her 40s named Debbie. Her real daughter, Kelly Burke, had created Casey as a persona in 1998 with a group of her friends, but reportedly had no role in creating the whole character with a cancer backstory. Debbie would create near daily blog entries as Casey, recounting her struggles with leukemia, hospital visits, and her eventual liver failure. When Casey was too ill to make her own entries, her mother would write updates for her. This mother character was also Debbie, and she named the fake mother Debbie as well. This is a baffling case. The blog had millions of visitors over the years, and readers would send cards, gifts, and letters by mail. One of her closest online friends understandably wanted to meet Casey before she passed. This poor guy was trying to make specific plans for their meetup. Then, ring ring, Debbie calls him on May 15th, 2001, saying Casey had died of an aneurysm. News spread throughout the internet, and mourners wanted to pay their condolences with more gifts. Mysteriously, the former P.O. box then immediately closed. On May 17th, blogger Sandra Mitchell came to the rescue and proved this was all a hoax. Debbie's first rebuttal was, "Casey is my secret foster child, please keep her identity a secret," but further evidence determined Casey didn't even exist. So next she claimed the persona was a composite of 3 people she knew with cancer. In a New York Times interview, she apologized, but also dropped such wise wisdom of, "A lot of people have problems. I know I helped a lot of people in a lot of different ways." This is a very twisted instance of a hoax. Steve Burns, the beloved face of many of our childhoods. He was the Blue's Clues host for 6 years until Joe took over. The reason behind Steve's departure wasn't completely clear. It wasn't long until speculations and rumors began. Notably, the hearsay that he had died of an overdose, a car accident, or any other instance people could formulate. Despite him repeatedly clarifying he was very much alive and well, this had a lasting impact. He is all over the Mandela Effect subreddit when, no, Steve was never dead. As a child, my mom would tell me Steve left because he wanted to shave his head and pursue music. Somehow she had that pretty much right back in the early 2000s, so at no time in my childhood did I think he had passed away, wasn't addicted, or anything else besides, well, bald. We are left with pleasant childhood memories of mail time, the thinking chair, and a thankfully alive, wholesome man who put on an imaginative show for us. Marty is the thwomp that is caged in N64 Bowser's Castle in Mario Kart 64. He is green with a laugh unique to him. Being a fan favorite addition, people began coming up with wishful theories on how to unlock him, rightfully freeing Marty from his cruel and unusual punishment of a prison. Something I particularly enjoy about N64 Urban Legends is that N64 was released right around the time the internet was becoming more of a common occurrence. But it was still the 90s and early 2000s as they released the console's final games. So it has that frame of time's charm along with the absurdity of the internet. After years of theorizing, in 2007, Clay McElveen uploaded 2 infamous YouTube videos, Marty Unlocking Method 1 and Marty Unlocking Method 2. Each video showed the specific steps to follow in order to release Marty. Red Cover, our savior, debunked this to let us know that Marty is not in Mario Kart 64, as a playable character that is. You've gotta love 2007 YouTube comments, and it's amusing to see people reminisce about how they believed this hoax at the time. He remains in Mario Kart Wii's remake of the level as the iconic character deserves. N64 Bowser's Castle was always my favorite track to speedrun, maybe it was thanks to Marty's energy. Also, while we're on the topic of thwomps, I wanted to give a shout out to Thwimps from Super Mario World because Thwimps and Marty deserve the utmost recognition. Username 666, the legendary video, now holds 17 million views. It begins with a nostalgic sound of Nana types in 666 to the end of the YouTube URL. They click go and are brought to username 666's suspended account. After multiple refreshes, the page begins to deteriorate and glitch, showing all views as 666. Eventually it changes color and becomes more sinister. A video titled 666 appears and Nana clicks on it. It's an indistinct yet disturbing video. Eventually, they try to exit, but the site doesn't allow it. They try to turn off the computer, but it won't budge. The video erratically moves around, then abruptly ends with the glitch effect. I'm almost positive Nana meant it as art and didn't intend it to be a hoax, much like a lot of the things we're going to be talking about, but the internet took it as such for some time. For 2008, this is an incredibly impressive piece of internet horror, and is probably why some people believed it or at least attempted it themselves. I admittedly did when I was around 11 out of curiosity. After I confirmed it wasn't real by trying the username 666 method, I became fascinated with the video. This was when I was starting to get truly immersed into the stranger side of the internet and viewing it in a creative light. It feels extremely modern and ahead of its time. Aside from the old version of YouTube and Windows XP, had you told me this was made today, I think I'd believe it. I genuinely think that username 666 is a significant piece of internet history. Agamemnon Counterpart was uploaded in 2001. A surreal art project was turned into a creepypasta that caused some concerning misinformation to diffuse around the internet. The video reads, in the year 2571, a video cassette tape was found in a pile of rubber on the ruins of a certain blue planet. What you are about to witness will not be the contents of the aforementioned cassette. This is an entirely different recording. The video then cuts to this bizarrely wonderful footage of 2 creatures with the text, "Let's make a new friend." After a few seconds, sounds of screaming entail, and the video begins to decay in quality with a VHS effect. We're met with near psychedelic visuals and some Super Paper Mario Void type shit happens, then it comes to an end. The hoax of this masterpiece was due to people not taking a creepypasta as fiction. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie. As a kid, I used to be guilty of not realizing a creepypasta was a creepypasta. Anyways, you can read here on this Reddit comment from 8 years ago what people were claiming the screaming audio originated from. I have a fear of YouTube being angry if I read the comment out loud. This was fortunately debunked by Scaretheater, and the audio was confirmed to be from the 1972 French film Cries from Within. Just like username 666, I'd argue this is even more ahead of its time. It is practically the pinnacle of analog horror that we see today. My fond memories of discovering Scaretheater back in 2015 and beginning my diving into internet mysteries makes this video feel special to me. Neveropenit.rar is a much more obscure one. It was something I came across a while ago when scrolling through r/internet mysteries. I hadn't ever heard anything about it, and I'd be surprised if you have if you don't speak Russian or Spanish, because there is no English-speaking content I could find covering this mystery. It seems to have only been popular in Russia. Supposedly originating from a 2003 forum, neveropenit.rar is a file that contains eeriness.gif. The user said it made him go gray-haired at 19 due to how horrific the GIF was. We're so used to creepypasta shit now that this sounds pretty funny, but he put it in the archived RAR file. That way he could only give the password to those that were prepared for their hair to gray. A rumor swept through the forum that one of the users who opened the archive died of horror right in front of the monitor, leading the community to demand distribution of the password to seize. This wiki provides a recreation of the image, and it's just a disfigured face with their mouth open, kinda looks like that scene that's in The Ring. The Reddit user was wanting to know if the investigation into cracking the passcode had gotten anywhere, but the majority of commenters were like, hey, this sounds creepy, but is probably a hoax. I think this entry was a good example for leading us into the fad of blatant fictitious horror content that we for some reason used to believe. The latest comment was from this user, who says he was who investigated the file, but that it actually came from a Russian horror stories website in 2013 and is fiction. Assuming they are telling the truth, this isn't even from the early internet. It is a better representation of when creepypastas started playing a game of telephone, resulting in people taking them as reality. Internet hoaxes were starting to require backstory, they were evolving. Internet horror was becoming mainstream, YouTube was filling up with doctored found footage disguised as real, along with elaborate fabricated stories slapped onto them. So, now we're going to dive into the rise of social media. Well to Hell is an urban legend dating back to the 90s, but it was popularized via a 2010 YouTube video titled Siberia Hell Sounds. The claim was that in 1999, the Russian government investigated plate tectonics in Siberia by drilling into the Earth's crust. At 4.4 kilometers, the temperature sensors read 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit. The crew lowered a microphone that resulted in the recording of human screams. They had discovered hell. The video plays a radio station segment sharing some further details, then plays the supposed screams from hell. This has now been entirely debunked. Similar to Agamemnon Counterpart, the audio taken was from the 1972 film Barren Blood, but holy shit did this terrify me as a kid. I vividly remember this causing me to go down a rabbit hole of various other hell hoax content, and it really scared me. In the comments, you can see multiple people who were shown this in church as children. I stumbled upon it on my own, browsing scary YouTube, looking for real Bloody Mary footage and proof of ghosts, as I did when I was 8 years old. Imagining an adult presenting me with this as a factual thing sounds horrifying. And it wouldn't be shocking if there's a decent amount of people who are misled by the Well to Hell hoax to this day. Girl Ghost is an OG YouTube ghost video where two girls are just playing around in a room. All of a sudden, this figure peeks around the door at an unnatural height. The person recording exclaims, "What's that?" and follows the entity out of the bedroom door. Now it is at the top of the stairs. The girls hurriedly run in a panic outside of their house and turn around to show that the ghost is staring out the window. It vanishes, then appears at a window on the lower level of the house within seconds. The description reads, "I can't explain this, it happens quite a lot in my house. Check it out and figure out for yourself. Some scary madness." Unfortunately, the comments are now turned off, so I'm unable to read any of the old ones to you guys. It was featured in a Chills video, but most of the comments on that are scared of it. His video was posted about 6 years ago in 2017, so I suppose a different time period. It is now dawning on me that 2017 was 6 years ago, but considering the ghost is wearing this attire, like, come on, you know that it's not real. But it for sure had us in a chokehold of fear back in the day. And these fake YouTube videos of ghosts and shit started to flood in, and we all ate them up. I'm going to continue to share those that I feel are the most memorable. In Creepy Fairy Insect UK, a parent is filming their children in a garden when they discover a peculiar insect. The text reads, "Any insecticologists out there know what kind it is?" Yeah, like this dude didn't know what he was doing. The video follows the children around, exploring the garden for roughly a minute. Then the fairy is caught on candid camera. It is first laying on a tree, but then flies towards the camera. The family begins running away and the video ends. Yet another with the comments turned off, but I was able to find it featured in Fairies Caught on Tape, Top 5 Real Fairy Videos. That was posted only 7 months ago. I'd like to think we've gained more common sense since the video's original debut in 2008. The comments on the compilation mention how it clearly looks like CGI, or how the fairy literally stops to pose for a second. This user asked, "Who really sits here and thinks this is real? I'm lying down, but don't think it's real." My dumb mind when I see this video as a kid. Same, Vinny. I'm not saying I don't believe in any type of paranormal or odd occurrences. This world is strange without a doubt, but you don't see these damn fairies and ghost videos anymore for a reason. I was watching a Dan Bell stream just the other weekend where he pointed that out, and I truly think it's because we simply stopped believing them and low res was acceptable, so it was easier to forge. At the time, we couldn't grasp how it could be fake due to limited technology. But it's nice to think back on this supernatural hoax era of YouTube. Anactor Haka is a video where this caged creature has a man's head and some sort of animal's body. It begins with arama.com presents, then this text is shown that translates to "Son of disobedience to his parents, true story that happened in Arab countries." The description reads, "Don't you ever disobey to parents." This video was recorded in Arabic, and Anactor Haka translates to rebellious child. Clearly, you can suspect the purpose of this video was like, hey, if you disobey your parents, you'll turn into this. I remember when I was really little, my aunt told me if I drank too much orange juice, it would result in my face looking like this. I'm sure many of us have similar childhood memories. This was the original upload, but there was a re-upload by a different channel titled Real Chimera / Manticore. This version doesn't have any text and is a bit longer than the original. A chimera is a Greek mythology creature that is a fusion of typically a lion, goat, and a snake, while a manticore originates from Persian mythology and is a lion's body with the head of a human. Comments on the re-upload allude to the fact that it evidently is either a product of forced perspective or just some guy hiding behind the animal. Despite it being fake, I find the creature uncanny and strange even now. With Super Mario Galaxy DS, we take a pleasant break from the creepy videos, going back to the area of Marty the Thwomp type hoaxes. When Super Mario Galaxy was released on the Wii, it quickly became a beloved entry in the Mario franchise. The DS has remained Nintendo's best-selling console for years. It currently has the Switch beat by about 40 million sales. People wanted a Mario Galaxy port for the DS. In late 2007, a video was posted that displayed an at the time convincing fake of Mario Galaxy on the DS. This had people fooled with their hopes up. You can see more recent comments discussing how it was one of the best hoaxes and how real it looks. When it was confirmed to be a fake, people found out the footage belonged to Pablo Belmonte, a man behind some of the most well-known Nintendo hoaxes, like Nintendo On, Majora's Mask HD, and Super Mario Universe. I love these Mario-themed hoaxes. Not only because I'm a massive Mario fan, I do have a Super Mario 64 and Super Paper Mario video if that's your kind of thing, but also, I feel like they kind of set the stage for the future of every copy of Mario 64 is personalized, or all of the other mysterious content surrounding the games. And now there is a fan-made project that is going to be making Mario Galaxy DS a reality. I think there's currently only a demo available, but it's an exciting ongoing project. In 2011, a YouTube video titled "A Mistake of Magic Kills His Wife" began circulating the internet. In the video, we see a man on stage about to perform a magic trick where he saws a woman, reportedly his wife, into thirds. There's this voiceover guy narrating the sequence of events throughout the entire thing. As the man is about to do the part of the magic trick where he saws off the head, the narrator says her head was stuck in the magic box, so she couldn't pull her head into the middle section of the box to switch it out for the fake head. You can see her waving her arm around trying to signal to the magician of the mishap, but he fails to notice. Then proceeds to take a chainsaw to her head. You can see blood drip down the box and the woman's body goes still. Okay, so in the last few seconds, this message pops up, which can be translated from Slovak to 1,000 euro for one head, and the website URL translates to card full of money. So naturally, we could assume that this was just a strange ad for perhaps a mannequin head company or something of the sort. But that wasn't 2011 internet logic. People genuinely believed this to be real, and based on recent comments, still do. It seems to have resurfaced on TikTok at some point, and TikTok users flooded into the YouTube video thinking this was a legit video. There are, however, a few Reddit posts diving in further to this video's history and legitimacy. User Cornloaf on r/rbi said viewing the website on way back shows there is an about page for VUB issued MasterCards, VUB being a commercial banking entity in Slovakia. And this user on r/internetmysteries claims it was a 2009 MasterCard Europe/UniCredit bank campaign. This is a fake video that I think has been reliably debunked, yet it still has parts of the internet convinced. Very successful hoax to have people questioning over a decade later. The Centrifuge Brain Project is a 2011 mockumentary short film and was never intended to be any form of hoax. The creator just wanted to create a clash between realism and absurdity. It's about the fictional researching firm Institute for Centrifugal Research, or the ICR. The chief engineer goes over the discovery that merry-go-rounds increase creative activity in children. This caused them to perform further investigation of centrifugal force on human development in order to expand the mind. His company doubts the accepted laws of physics and has created tests designed to determine human endurance. Said tests were disguised as amusement park rides. We then see the following rides in action: early vertical centrifuge, spherothon, wedding cake, high altitude conveyance, the expander, dandelion, SPC steam pressure catapult, and centriductor swing machine. So how did it turn into a hoax? By being shared on Facebook as a real amusement park. I don't know if Facebook is ever going to evolve in the hoax world. There's still people claiming dumb shit on there if you ever check Facebook anymore. But it was going around on Facebook and people were like, oh my god, I want to go there. It must have gone on for a while because this Snopes article debunking it is from 2019. But I'm almost positive I came across the post in 2017 because I have forever associated it with playing Super Monkey Ball the summer before I started 9th grade. It's a blend of being literally in the middle of a Monkey Ball story mode playthrough, and it visually reminds me of Monkey Ball. It looks like human Monkey Ball levels inside of a dream, and because of that, I had this fixation on the short film. I found it surreal and fascinating. Much like other surreal content, I was falling more and more in love with over the years, starting as a child, which is probably apparent now by this point in the video, and leads us to elevated hoax horror. I think barbie.avi is my earliest memory of becoming enveloped in an internet mystery. Realizing now that the videos uploaded to YouTube were just additions to the creepypasta story feels a little funny, but these videos made their way onto mystery channels. The story claimed that some guy had found a computer in the dumpster, and on it contained this footage of a woman with an amputated arm. It was uploaded by Xenopasta with part 1, 2, and 4. Part 3 doesn't exist on the channel. Some people believe the dumpster story, but most didn't, and we just wanted to find the source of the footage. What a lot of us did fall for is at the beginning of part 4, the letters BIID show up. BIID stands for Body Integrity Identity Disorder, a rare disorder categorized by people having an urge to amputate healthy limbs or a desire to have another physical disability. Because of the text BIID on the video, the theory started that this was a woman who suffered from the disorder and was talking about her experience of having a perfectly fine arm amputated due to the illness. Since Xenopasta put the text in there, I'm sure this is what they wanted people to speculate. I'd like to assume they wanted to keep it as a fictional creepypasta and not actually stage a hoax about this unknown woman, but at the time it was taken more seriously. Years later, the original full footage was obtained, and she was eventually identified as Tamara Klein. The actual backstory behind the video was a simple interview of her discussing her experience with an amputated arm. In 1986, Kleenex released this commercial in Japan. The commercial depicts a woman with a child dressed as an oni while a song titled It's a Fine Day plays in the background. The unsettling essence of the ad caused viewers to complain, and it was pulled from the air. Nothing else to it, but an urban legend formed, and it was believed that this Kleenex commercial was cursed. Rumors emerged that the song was a German curse, even though the song isn't English, and that both the baby and woman in the video passed away after filming the commercial. The death theory was debunked, but the general cursed aspect of it was further fueled by Shrouded Hand when he uploaded "Cursed Kleenex commercial, changing at midnight, warning scary." In the description, he goes over the history, saying, "It is now considered to be just an urban legend, and there is no evidence for any real deaths associated with the video. However, we experienced some very strange phenomena when I tried to play this video file. The first time I played it, I experienced a power cut the moment the video finished. All the lights in the video went out, and our laptop that we were playing the video on switched off instantly. Normally, in a power cut, it would just switch to battery power and remain on. The second time I was able to play the video, but no matter what we try, I cannot open the file in any video editor, nor can I convert the video file. I had to just upload the raw footage. What do you think? Could it be a prank played by the video uploader, or maybe a weird YouTube Easter egg? Or maybe the curse is real?" The curse was not real. The video he made was fake, and while albeit an unnerving commercial, I don't understand why we used to have to debunk these kinds of things. Mario Knights was an alleged game for the SNES. Its urban legend seems to have stemmed from this 2015 SlimeBeast.com article titled "Mario is a Monster." The author, SlimeBeast, goes through some of the OG Mario games from the NES and SNES, trying to prove their point that Mario is actually an evil being. The story ends with an excerpt about Mario Knights, what they claim was the last franchise game for the Super Nintendo. In this entry of Mario, he is armed with a flashlight and has to venture through the Night Kingdom, where SlimeBeast says he is once again in search of the princess he has most likely laid hands upon. Can't you hear him coming home after work? It's a me, Mario. Hey, where's my pot roast, bitch? It entails worms with tiny face masks protruding from the ground, a vomiting Yoshi, and a final boss named Eag that will take a bite out of Peach's skull if you don't defeat him in time. Now, most speculation wasn't that this was a genuine Nintendo game, rather a lost ROM hack. The supposed origin year of Mario Knights is unconfirmed, and not much information about its history remains online anymore. It used to have an entire Lost Media Archive wiki article, but the last edit deleted all of the contents and replaced it with lol. I assume after people searched and went as far as to email Nintendo themselves, only for it to be proven fake. This game never existed, and originated from a fictitious story, yet people still hunted for it and were understandably let down when it was essentially a creepypasta. I'm sure the majority of people figured it wasn't an official Nintendo game, but the theory that it was an obscure ROM hack had some merit. especially considering this YouTube video that's a mock-up of the game, and also this artwork that was posted, because it's not always 100% transparent when lost media is fake. Non-existent lost media is one of the most common modern-day hoaxes. Saki Sanobashi, Polybius, A Day with SpongeBob, and many more. It's one of the ways people can still fool a decent amount of people on the internet, since lost media has become a beloved thing over the years. And the source of the artwork still hasn't been identified, so there is a smidge of genuine lost media within this hoax. Tyler's last words. Alright, time to censor myself to try to get around YouTube's disdain for a certain topic. In 2011, a channel named DeLarge Tyler uploaded this video. The description reads, "This is my brother's last song to his wife, as he requested in his note. I'm sorry if this offends anyone. I love my brother and I owe this to him. We miss you, Tyler. May you and Victoria be happy together again." In the video, this man sings a hauntingly beautiful song, with lyrics that allude to him wanting to be with his deceased wife again, and that he is going to go down the sewer slide after he finishes the song. At the end, he deadpan stares into the camera, holds a certain object up, and closes his eyes. The video ends. While uploaded in 2011, it gained no traction until it randomly showed up in everyone's recommended around July 2018. And this was the next big internet mystery. Was it real? A hoax? An art project? No one knew for sure. General consensus was that it most likely wasn't legitimately a video of a guy right before his sliding down the sewer, but mystery still surrounded it. Eventually, people found an obituary for someone named Tyler, who looked a little similar and passed away in 2011. The cause of death was also the same as alleged Tyler DeLarge's. If I'm remembering correctly, I think I believed this theory when I saw a comment explaining it. However, sometime later, Scaretheater made a video and pointed out how they don't actually look much alike, and it backtracked into a mystery again. But in 2020, out of nowhere, Tyler's true identity was found. People found the band My Fair Fiend, and noticed an alive member looked and sounded suspiciously similar to Tyler. And their Bandcamp even linked to an album titled Victoria, the band member's name being Austin Cross, who has his own channel. People took word of the Austin Cross lead and fled to his channel. Eventually, he embraced the truth and even uploaded a cover in 2021, followed by a new original song titled Austin's First Words. While we know that Tyler's last words was some sort of hoax, I couldn't find any proof that Austin had addressed the actual backstory behind it. That was until I contacted Austin himself, and he responded. He gave me his permission to share with you all the true story behind Tyler's last words. It was an art for art's sake type of project. At the time, he just wanted to make someone out there feel something, but expected 50 people tops to stumble upon it. The song itself has a personal, symbolic meaning to Austin. Tyler DeLarge is a mash of Tyler Durden from Fight Club and Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange. This Tyler persona was meant to represent what Austin felt were the negative parts of him. Victoria is representative of victory and his dreams and aspirations. When you put two and two together, it's essentially a song about overcoming the worst parts of yourself to get to your victory. And I think that's insanely clever and meaningful. This was not a hoax. This was a genuine piece of art. It felt rewarding to finally have an answer and put this mystery to rest once and for all. I decided to put it last because when I think about the mystery of it in 2018, it just feels like the end of an era almost, when internet mystery content was starting to evolve and change again, becoming more like what it is today. I'd say Tyler's last words was one of the mysteries that led us into whatever era we're in now. I truly enjoyed going through all of these, and it was a trip down memory lane. I honestly put a lot of thought and sentiment into it, and huge thanks to Whang for his contribution. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's bittersweet to reminisce on the earlier internet and our first experience with mysteries. Becoming so invested in them for the first time, finding creators talking about it, getting into all of the surreal weird videos. It was like exploring a new world. Today I can look back on it and realize all of that was the predecessor to my whole channel. Now I'm making a video on it. Thank you.